Good morning, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm a current undergraduate student here at the University of Guelph. I would like to welcome you to the College of Biological Science convocation ceremony this morning. The University of Guelph is honored by our graduates, and we take great pride in this convocation. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the proceedings today. The ceremonials used for conferring degrees have evolved over a millennium, and the gowns and hoods represent that history. In general, the gowns for the baccalaureate and magisterate degrees are black, and the color of the hood is different for each degree program. The doctorates at the University of Guelph have a bright blue gown, and the honorary degrees are an even brighter color. The University of Guelph crest that you can see on the curtains behind me and shown on the cover of your convocation program also represent our specific history. The emblems on the crest show links with the Royal City of Guelph through the stallion above, the connection to the liberal arts through the book, to the sciences through the astrolabe, and our connection to abundance and agriculture through the cornucopia. The University of Guelph motto, Rerum Conocere Causis, is a quote from Virgil. It is variously translated to either happy is the one who is able to discern the reason of things, or perhaps to know the meaning of things. The procession of people into the hall are also influenced by ancient tradition. The piper will herald the procession of graduands, the students who are graduating here today. This will be followed by the arrival of the mace, leading the platform party. The mace is a symbol of authority at the university and will be carried by the beadle. In medieval universities, a beadle was chosen by the instructor to work as an assistant. Today, the beadle is a ceremonial officer of Senate. Following the beadle and mace is the chancellor, president, members of the administration, and the honorees, fellows of the university, members of the board and senate, and members of faculty and staff. The degrees will be conferred in the order that you see in the program. The degrees are separated by categories representing the specific degree being awarded within the college. We will begin with doctorates and magistrates, followed by the baccalaureate degrees. The name reader will present scholars to the chancellor and president by degree category. As the name of each student is called, the beadle will place the hood on the recipient's shoulders. This moment will be videoed, and technology willing, there will be a simultaneous live cast of the event to allow family members and friends to watch from a distance. The chancellor and president will greet each student at center stage, and a photograph will be taken. We understand the joy and excitement accompanying this auspicious occasion, but we ask that you please applaud after each group of graduands has crossed the stage. There will be an opportunity for tremendous applause after. Once all the degrees are conferred and cheers are cheered, the chancellor will close the ceremony and a processional will play. Please remain standing during this processional until all the platform party has recessed out of the hall. Our colleagues from Alumni Affairs are hosting a special social media program developed especially for convocation. Please share your photos, memories, and advice for graduating students by joining us on social media and using the hashtag #GuelphGrad. Finally, may I be the first person to congratulate all the graduands on their various successes and offer my congratulations to the family and friends who are here to support them. Welcome to convocation at the University of Guelph.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
I invite you to remain standing for the invocation. On this day of recognized achievement, we pause and reflect on our place in this world. We acknowledge the Adirondack people on whose territory the University of Guelph now resides. And we offer our respect to their neighbors, the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Métis. On this day that marks the end of a journey, we give thanks for the friendships that have been forged along the way. We are grateful for all those who have supported us, faculty, administration, mentors, and families. I invite you, each in your own way, to take a moment of silence, to reflect, to recognize that for which you are grateful, to offer a prayer. As we step into a new tomorrow, may the knowledge that we have gained here be coupled with wisdom and be infused with compassion and be clothed with humility, that we might contribute to the flourishing of all humanity, that we might embrace the forgotten, enhance the sustainability of all things, and fully discover what it means to be human. May grace and peace abound. You may be seated.
Members of the board, honorary fellows and faculty of the university, families and friends of the graduands and graduands, welcome to the celebration of convocation at the University of Guelph. My name is Franco Vaccarino, and I have the honor of serving as president and vice chancellor of this great university. And I'm privileged to welcome you to convocation today. I'd like to also extend a particular welcome to this morning's special guests. We have with us Dr. Mohammed Karmali, who will be receiving an honorary Doctor of Science degree, as well graduating medal winners Laura Jane Weber and Diana DeSantis. We also have staff members Rob Guthrie, Bonnie Lasby, Kelly Lucas, Heather Pollock, who will be awarded the Academic Advising Medal. And they'll be introduced to you formally during the ceremony. And I should also mention it's wonderful for me to have the opportunity also to welcome with us today Dr. Bill Weingard, past president of our university. Bill. So as we begin today's convocation ceremony, let me offer a few congratulatory remarks. First off, graduates, this is your big day. You've worked hard, you've persevered, and you've made it. Well done and well deserved. Now, a huge part of this day is about you, but it's not all about you. And so before we go on, graduates, there's a group of individuals here who, I'm sure you will agree, deserve your special attention. And they are those family members and friends who have supported you from the sidelines throughout your time at Guelph. So graduates, this is an opportunity for you to give a shout out to your families and friends who are here with us today. So in preparing this welcome, I reflected on the address I gave at my installation as President and Vice Chancellor last fall. And a central part of that message then was about how this university has prepared you, our graduates, for this very moment and for the years that will follow. So let me share with you some thoughts from that installation speech last fall. I'm an optimist by nature, and in many ways we're living through what might be remembered as one of the most exciting and important periods throughout history. Our world is marked by incredible advances in life sciences and physical sciences, in information and communications technology, in the sheer volume of discovery and knowledge. And through all this change, advances in the social sciences, in the arts, in the humanities, test our belief systems. They challenge our constructs against new and evolving societal contexts. We're also seeing isolated disciplines and subject matter coming together in fresh and exciting ways, like music and computer technology, healthcare and robotic engineering, materials science and agriculture. More and more, those connections make knowledge more accessible and abundant. They also effectively shrink the gap between the generation of knowledge on the one hand and our application of that knowledge. In our fast-paced and interconnected world, the distance has narrowed, and the distance continues to narrow between today and tomorrow. And that, graduates, presents a challenge, and it presents wonderful opportunities as well for you and for all of us. So what are the human attributes that will allow us to thrive in such dynamic times? Well, they include the ability as individuals, and I would say as a university, for us to adapt and to readapt in a healthy way to uncertainty and change. And by adaptation, I'm not referring simply to passive habituation. I'm referring to the act of very consciously and deliberately redefining ourselves based on what is going on around us. When faced with change, people adapt. Sometimes we adapt in healthy ways, and sometimes we adapt in less than healthy ways. The opportunity for you, our graduates, is to adapt to change in healthy ways, to undertake thoughtful analysis that will help you find what I like to call the upside of uncertainty and change. That provides hope, provides inspiration, and is also, I believe, the basis for discovery. It's about taking uncertainty and change and turning it into something positive, something special. Now, you've spent the past few years of your lives studying and learning here at the University of Guelph. And an important part of our mission as a university has been to provide our students, you, our graduates, with the tools to successfully adapt and navigate through the complexities and dynamics of a modern society. We've tried to help instill an ability to adapt, and I would say, indeed, to thrive in tomorrow's ever-changing world. Your experience at the University of Guelph has prepared you for this new world. In your years here, you've had the opportunity to learn, to witness world-renowned breakthroughs, and also to grow personally. What you've learned here goes beyond the teaching of subject matter strictly, and moves towards the process of learning to learn, adaptation, creativity. As successful graduates, you will blend knowledge, mixing and matching ideas from different parts of your lives and different disciplines that you've crossed paths with here at the university. Your years at Guelph have given you the creative skills and the analytical skills to apply that knowledge in innovative and exciting ways. So as you enter this important next stage of your lives, I encourage you to draw on all of your University of Guelph experiences as learners and as members of a very special community, and to bring the very, very best you have to offer to every experience. Embrace the opportunities that arrive. Look to create your own opportunities. Dare to dream. Dare to dream and to reach for a higher sense of purpose. And find new and fresh ways to take what you have learned here to engage with and make a difference in your world. Thank you very much, and once again, congratulations. All the best.
Mr. Chancellor. On the recommendation of the Senate of the University of Guelph, it is a great honor to present to you the candidate, Mohammed Kormali, for the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. A physician and microbiologist, Dr. Mohammed Kormali is known all over the world for his outstanding scientific contributions to our understanding of foodborne pathogens. He graduated in medicine from the University of Glasgow and specialized in internal medicine and medical microbiology at the Universities of Glasgow and Toronto. While head of microbiology at Toronto's Hospital for Sick Children, he was involved in cutting-edge research into two of Canada's leading causes of foodborne illness. Perhaps his best-known scientific contribution is the discovery that E. coli was responsible for hemolytic uremic syndrome that may cause lifelong kidney disease or death, particularly in children. This discovery in the early 1980s allowed us to understand what happened in the E. coli O157 outbreak in Walkerton in 2000. Dr. Kormali has been a consultant with the World Health Organization and for the past 15 years has served as the Director General of the Laboratory for Foodborne Zoonoses, a division of the Public Health Agency of Canada. Dr. Kormali focuses on preventing infectious and chronic diseases by looking at public health risks that come from the interactions between animals, humans, and the environment, also known as the One Health approach. As a result, his work as a scientist and as a leader in public health has improved the health of countless individuals in Canada and globally. He has mentored University of Guelph graduate students throughout his career. He is an ardent supporter of the University of Guelph and of building strong scientific collaborations between scientists at the University of Guelph and scientists in his agency and other government health organization. Dr. Kormali has published over 140 manuscripts and has delivered over 200 conference and invited presentations. Dr. Mohammed A. Kormali is internationally recognized as a leading medical microbiologist and public health official, having made major fundamental contribution to the fields of academic medicine and public health in particular, and to advances in human health in general. Mr. Chancellor, it is my honor to request that you confer upon Mohammed Kormali the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
By the authority of the Senate of the University of Guelph, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
The William Weingard Medal is the University of Guelph's most prestigious undergraduate student convocation award and is named in honor of Dr. William C. Weingard, former University of Guelph president, who we're delighted is here today with us. This medal is awarded annually in recognition of both academic achievement and contributions to university and community life. Mr. Chancellor, I am honored to present this year's recipient of the William Weingard Medal, Laura Jane Weber. Laura Jane's academic accomplishments are exemplary and extend well beyond grades, where her grade point average ranking was 7th among 970 College of Biological Science graduates. And equally impressive was her scholarship through independent research, conference participation, her deep involvement in campus initiatives related to many aspects of student life, and her leadership in community engagement and health at the national level and abroad. Laura Jane is a very committed learner and an exceptional communicator who leads with integrity and humility. Her leadership strengths are unique in her many roles within student life, particularly with our multi-faith team. She has proved to be an extremely capable program coordinator and facilitator. But more importantly, her leadership is highly relational. She is extremely effective at creating space for others to grow and to develop in their own leadership capacities. Community engagement has been an important part of her undergraduate career. It did not matter whether she was facilitating strategic planning processes for Kenyan schools, volunteering at local drop-in centers for the homeless, or working as a multi-faith team member at the University of Guelph. Laura was committed to improving the lives of others both on and off campus. Laura Jane plans to join a direct entry PhD program in epidemiology and international development. We are proud to have Laura Jane Weber as a University of Guelph graduate, and I think you will agree that with her breadth of involvement in academic pursuits, community-engaged learning, community initiatives, and on-campus activities, she is a very deserving recipient of this year's William Weingard Medal.
The University of Guelph awards 2 silver medals from the Governor-General each year to the 2 graduating students with the highest cumulative average in any undergraduate degree program. One of the 2015 recipients is a graduate of the College of Biological Science. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor of presenting to you at this time one of the recipients of the Governor-General's Silver Medal, Diana DeSantis. Throughout her 4 years working towards a Bachelor of Science degree with a major in biomedical science, Diana's academic achievements have been remarkable. She's graduating with a cumulative average of 94.7% achieved across a diversity of topics, including biochemistry, molecular biology, organic chemistry, nutrition, immunology, anatomy, pathology, and pharmacology. Diana earned scores of 99% in 4 different courses and achieved a final grade of 95% or higher in 20 courses. Diana has been recognized for outstanding academic performance at all stages in her program. The University of Guelph awarded her the J.D. McLaughlin Scholarship for the student starting an undergraduate program with the highest entrance average. She received the Dean's Scholarship and the College of Biological Science every year of her enrollment here. She was also the recipient of the David Porter Memorial Award in Physiology, and most recently, Diana received a studentship grant from the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation of Canada to conduct research at the Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto. In addition to her studies, Diana has participated in numerous volunteer activities while at the University of Guelph, including in the Leadership Center for Diabetes at Mount Sinai Hospital in Toronto, Stroke Recovery Canada, at the Heart and Stroke Foundation. She's represented the biomedical science major at several admissions events, volunteered at the University of Guelph Health and Performance Center, and supported her fellow students as a registered tutor. For all of her achievements, Diana has been accepted into the De Groot School of Medicine at McMaster University this coming September. Mr. Chancellor, I'm sure you will agree that Diana DeSantis is an exemplary student and fully deserving of the Governor-General's Silver Medal.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you Rob Guthrie, Bonnie Lasby, Kelly Lucas, and Heather Pollack, our Bachelor of Science program counselors who are the recipients of the Academic Advising Medal. The medallion was created to recognize high-quality academic advising and is awarded annually to an individual or to a group who have been nominated by members of the university community and have made an outstanding contribution to academic advising at the undergraduate level. This year's recipients have almost 30 years of experience between them as program counselors. The nomination letters and the letters of support for this team's nomination recognize this experience and expertise and comment on the care and compassion shown by the members of the team. The letters include comments like the professionalism of the Bachelor of Science counselors is outstanding. I definitely remember walking out of the office feeling ready to take on the university. I enjoyed the teamwork the counselors displayed, and I left the office with a positive outlook for the future and peace of mind. The nomination package made it very clear that all the members of this team consistently display the qualities that this award was established to recognize. Mr. Chancellor, on behalf of the Council of Undergraduate Academic Advising, I am very pleased to have you present the 215 Excellence in Undergraduate Academic Advising Medallion to the very deserving Bachelor of Science academic advisors.
I am now pleased to invite Dr. Mohammed Karmali to give the convocation address.
Chancellor Mirvish, President Vaccarino, members of the board, deans, faculty, family and friends, and of course, graduates. Good morning to you all, and in particular, congratulations to the graduates. Thank you, Dean Stone, for a very generous citation. And Mr. Chancellor, I wish to express my deepest gratitude for this very prestigious honor. This great university with which I have enjoyed interacting since 1979 has many distinctions, including one that is very close to my heart, crossing boundaries, and President Vaccarino spoke about that. For the graduates, this day represents a major milestone in your life's journey towards fulfilling your dreams and aspirations. Along the journey, you will experience the highs and the lows. You will come to forks in the road and will have to decide which direction to take, especially in relation to your career. One thing that can help you with the lows, the challenges, and the decision points in your journey is your inner voice. Your inner voice is a synthesis of your life experience, of things and people who have inspired you, of your dreams and aspirations, your intuition and instincts, your passions, values, belief systems, and a whole bunch of other things in your subconscious that are rolled up as your invisible guide. Let me tell you of a few instances where my inner voice kept me on the straight and narrow. I grew up in Kenya, when the post-war world was undergoing a dramatic transformation from the old colonial empires to a new world order of rapid decolonialization and emergence of new nations, of the start of the Cold War, and in the 1960s, flower power and protest movements in the US in response to the Vietnam War. Of course, there were other things going on in the 60s. Bob Dylan, the Beatles, Rolling Stones. But let's get back to the 1950s and 1960s, when Kenya was in the middle of a guerrilla fight for independence, a guerrilla war for independence. And during that time, I have vivid recollections of observing my father in the middle of the night, armed and vigilant, on the lookout for insurgents as part of our street's home guard. I found all the challenges, all these events, locally and globally, quite exhilarating, and decided that I wanted to become a writer or a historian or a journalist to witness the events for myself and to write about them. But my grandfather, my beloved mentor, encouraged me to become a medical doctor. I worked hard to meet his expectations and succeeded in gaining admission to medical school, but never shed my passion for the arts and humanities. A tragedy in my life was the death of my mother at age 20 when I was a toddler. She died most likely from pneumococcal lobar pneumonia, a leading cause of death at that time in healthy young people, and a condition that responds very well to penicillin. But unfortunately, at that time, in the late 1940s, there were no antibiotics available in Kenya. So when I got to medical school, I guess nudged on by my inner voice, I became very interested in medical microbiology and infectious diseases, which seemed like a very worthwhile pursuit to confront not only the cause of my mother's demise, but also the unnecessary death of millions of other young people in developing countries from infectious diseases. So armed with the passion for infectious diseases, I found myself one day browsing in a second-hand bookstore where I picked up for next to nothing a book called Germs and Ideas by the famous French geographer and economist André Siegfried. The book was based on his 1958 lecture to the National Academy of Medicine in Paris, which had a penchant for crossing boundaries. And so they asked this economist to talk to a largely medical audience. Siegfried gave a stimulating talk in which he drew the parallel between the transmission of germs and ideas. And he noted that deadly pathogens, as well as ideologies, doctrines, and propaganda, traveled the same trade routes, whether these were along the ancient Silk Route or whether these were maritime routes from the old world to the new world. Both germs and ideas had a source, routes and mechanisms of transmission, and populations that were either immune or susceptible to the germs or ideas. The analogies between germs and ideas are now part of our normal lexicon. We talk about worms and viruses infecting our computers and ideas that go viral on Twitter. Reading Germs and Ideas helped me reconcile my initial challenge of migrating from an interest in the arts to one in biomedical sciences. Because not only did the book demonstrate the fluidity of ideas and concepts across disciplines, but it also allowed me to get a broader perspective of things, to think laterally, and to see the bigger picture. In the same vein, another book that blew me away as a young guy from the developing countries was a book called The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon, a young black Frenchman who from Martinique, who studied medicine in Paris. He became a psychiatrist and was posted to a mental hospital in Algeria, which was at that time a French colony. He observed that many mentally ill patients were young Algerian men who suffered from intense oppression, feelings of inferiority, and racial intolerance from their colonial masters. As a cure for their mental illness, Fanon prescribed armed revolution to oust the colonial regime from Algeria, a notion that was eventually realized after a bloody war of independence in Algeria. So imagine using revolution as a cure for a mental illness. So again, this flow of concepts across boundaries further nurtured my ability to think outside the box, a skill that I found very useful later doing research. As you have heard from President Vaccarino, as undergraduates, you have picked up many learning tools and have learned to think and conceptualize and how to apply ideas. By listening to your inner voice, you'll be able to apply this learning approach to anything you pursue in the future, even if it requires you to cross boundaries. The next big thing in the world of science, or the next current thing in the world of science, again highlighted by the presidents, is known as convergence, which is bringing together multiple emerging sciences to address big problems like cancer, climate change, and energy issues. Convergence by crossing boundaries is leading to the emergence of new interdisciplinary sciences, such as genomics, synthetic biology, computational biology, and nanotechnology. Add to this the information revolution, artificial intelligence, robotics, major geopolitical changes, and globalization, and you can see a brave new world popping up in front of your eyes. For some, these changes will be exhilarating and will open up new opportunities. For others, they will be very scary. Disciplines will disappear, and occupations will become obsolete. So rely on your inner voice to help you navigate the changing landscape. One of the great iconic figures of our generation was Steve Jobs, who was adopted as a child, died young from cancer, and in his short life transformed the world of communication through his innovations. Here is an excerpt from his commencement speech at Stanford University in 2005, in which he refers to the inner voice. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. Don't be trapped by dogma, which is living with the results of other people's thinking. Don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your inner voice. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. Everything else is secondary. As I mentioned, your road to success will be littered with the lows, the occasional failures, unforeseen challenges, and unexpected hurdles, which all of us have experienced at some point in our life. I'm reminded of a time when I was a visiting speaker in Europe and was on my way out of the building when I suddenly went splat into an incredibly clean and transparent glass door. I crumbled to the floor, my glasses became twisted and flew off, and I was profoundly embarrassed. It was like I thought the way ahead was crystal clear, and I could see the horizon, and then suddenly I went into this unexpected roadblock. My grandfather used to say that experiencing failures, unexpected reversals of fortune, and roadblocks is a necessary part of the obstacle course of life. And learning from it leads to wisdom and fulfillment. So have courage, take risks, follow your inner voice, and never fear failure, or you'll never make it through the obstacle course of life. As a friend told me, in university, you learn your lessons first and then take your exams. In real life, you have your exams and then have to take your lessons. Perhaps and talking about the obstacle course of life, perhaps the greatest symbolic obstacle course of life was that experienced by Ulysses, as described in the great ancient Greek classic, Homer's Odyssey. As Ulysses heads home in a perilous journey from the Trojan War with his 12 ships to take up his rightful place as king of Ithaca, he comes up against many misfortunes, including being captured by Cyclops, the primordial giant with one eye in the middle of his forehead, being seduced by the witch goddess Circe, who turned many of his men into pigs, and having most of his ships destroyed by the cannibalistic Laestrygonians. Even though Ulysses lost many ships and men, he himself prevailed and returned to Ithaca as king. And it is this period of relative calm and peace that is beautifully captured in one of my favorite poets by the British poet Lord Tennyson, entitled Ulysses. In it, Ulysses speaks with his inner voice, initially expressing his boredom with his rather dull and eventful life as king, and then his yearning to return to the life of danger and adventure. Here from the end of Tennyson's poem are a few extracts, excuse me, a few extracts of Ulysses' inner voice of yearning. There lies the port. The vessel puffs her sails. The lights begin to twinkle from the rocks. Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world. And though we are not now the strength which in old days moved earth and heaven, that which we are, one equal temper of heroic hearts, made weak by time and fate, but strong in will, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. So you see, Ulysses was hooked by the obstacle course of life. So don't fear obstacles, but confront them. Always search for the truth. Don't let your curiosity ever die down. Be guided by your inner voice, and you will prevail and find fulfillment. So I congratulate you again for your achievements and wish you great adventures as you move forward. Thank you for your attention.
Dr. Kamarli, I want to thank you for a really marvelous and thought-provoking address to convocation. I think one of the things that I took away from it was the importance of listening to your inner voice, but I would remind you that Dr. Kamarli also spoke about his mother, his father, and importantly, his grandfather. Those people who have loved you and reared you, they have given you the inner voice, and now it's your responsibility to take what they've given you and have the courage to do as Dr. Kamarli said, to be creative, to cross borders, and to create a better world. So thank you very much, Dr. Kamarli. Thanks. Graduating class, this is your day. You've worked hard. There have probably been a few midterms that you'd like to rewrite, or at least you're glad they're over with. You may have wondered if you were ever going to graduate. You are. And we'll start the process right now. Will the graduating class please rise? Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to present to you these scholars who have fulfilled the statutory requirements laid down by the Senate of the University of Guelph that they may be admitted to their various and several degrees.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I hereby accept you for admission to your various and several degrees, with all the rights, privileges, and obligations appertaining thereto.
Will the graduating class please be seated?
Good morning, graduates and parents, family and supporters. I'm sure many of you will be excited. Before we move to the formalities of presenting our graduating class to you, we'd like to make one small but significant request. We're quite sure all of you will be very excited. Perhaps some of you will be feeling a sense of relief. Certainly, you'll all be happy to see your graduate walk across the stage and be greeted by the Chancellor and President. And you may want to express those emotions in some audible manner. This is fine. Please go ahead. Please go ahead, but may we ask that the rest of the audience holds their collective applause until after the presentation of all of the graduating students, at which point I will give you the secret signal which will allow you to burst spontaneously into rapturous applause. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Biological Science that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science in the Honours Programme. With distinction, William Abdul Malik. Solange Moret Almeida. With distinction, Shalina Amlani. With distinction, Megan Jane Armstrong. With distinction, Jocelyn Arnew. With distinction, Jennifer Asselstein. With distinction, Winkar Amanda Oyung. With distinction, Taylor Catherine Bailey. With distinction, Stephanie Susan Baker. Megan Ann Barker. Brianne Bedard. With distinction, Miriam Catherine Bergeret. With distinction, Caitlin Bertram. With distinction, Rosalind Patricia Behun. Jeanette Marie Bransfield. Alexandra Sophia Brodka. Matthew John Harris Burns. Yen Duong Kam. Catherine Maureen Capello. Carly Virginia Gale Shaggers. With distinction, Ashley Chapman. Trevor John Chester. Christina Lu Choi. With distinction, Paige Madison Chawner. Vimanda Chow. With distinction, Courtney Leanne Cole. With distinction, Kayla Marie Cole. Joseph Riley Comper. With distinction, Jamie Lee Baker Conrick. Sarah Elizabeth Costello. Rachel Cox. With distinction, Andrew Benjamin Bracken Coyne. Kate Alexandra Kranz. Rebecca Elizabeth Cromwell. With distinction, Kayla Dadgar. With distinction, Kyle Daniel. With distinction, Lauren Nicole Datama. With distinction, Alexandra Ray Davidson. With distinction, Sarah Davis. With distinction, Audrey Faye de Jong. With distinction, Diana Marie DeSantis. A. Aaron De Silva. With distinction, Evelyn Elias. Karen Fisher. Jamie Victoria Foster Bartlett. Jamie Lee Garbett. With distinction, Louis James Gasparini. With distinction, Molly Gingrich. With distinction, Olivia Catherine Ginty. Aideen Golzari. Hilary Graham. With distinction, Shauna Ray Graham. With distinction, Heather Christine Haffen. With distinction, Megan Teresa Haley. With distinction, Emma Hansen. With distinction, Stephanie Christine Harding. Taylor Harding. Sarah Cresswell Heath. With distinction, Megan Elizabeth Horbatuk. With distinction, Mackenzie Wynne Howell. Shannon Hubbard. With distinction, Laurie Israelian. With distinction, Gabriella Stacy Jacob. Dominika Jamnicki. With distinction, Katrina Delight Yorant. With distinction, Jordan Michelle Jones. Despina Josifova. With distinction, Rianne Dominique Kaderberg. Gillian Alexandra Klaus. With distinction, Sophie Alberta Kloppenberg. Emily Catherine Knights. Jocelyn Koost. With distinction, Jonathan Kotwa. With distinction, Yu Lun Liang. Emily Liddle. With distinction, Amanda Lopriato. Jessica Lau. With distinction, Megan Elizabeth Lowry. With distinction, Kwan Yuan Lai. With distinction, Bronwyn Jean Elizabeth Lyons. Jessica Lindsay McKinnon. With distinction, Laura Margaret McRae. Evelyn McRobert. Sarah Janet Mahmood. With distinction, Catherine Rebecca Mallinger. With distinction, Caitlin Elizabeth Martin. With distinction, Laurie Ann Matthews. Jacob Peter McCulloch. With distinction, Rebecca Paula MacDonald. Maggie Yvonne McGriskin. With distinction, Stephen Douglas McElwain. With distinction, William Norris McLean. With distinction, Sangeetha Mensingh. With distinction, Jeffrey Mihalak. With distinction, Julia Amanda, Amanda Mirotta. With distinction, Catherine Taylor Mitchum. Colleen Ann Nicholson. Christina Maria Nixon. Courtney Nicole O'Reilly. Sandrine Parent. Jordan Lynn Pelkmans. With distinction, Stephanie Rachel Potts. With distinction, Blake Pyman. Grant William Donkin Stairs. With distinction, Catherine Naomi Rayner. With distinction, Dana Erin Renfrew. With distinction, Erica Jean Rogers. Sadia Rokeria. Jordan Samuels. Courtney Elizabeth Schmood. With distinction, Pratik Sharma. Michelle Shea. Chrysanta Simon. Sydney Rosemarie Sinopoli. Bronwyn Smith. With distinction, Kai Chien Song. With distinction, Jasmine Marie Stevanato. With distinction, Stephanie Stogius. Caitlin Jade Studley. Phoebe Tago. With distinction, Jessica Isabella Tarker. With distinction, Christine Lee Annan Taylor. Alyssa Tharby. Brian James Thompson. Megan Emily Thorne. With distinction, Aaron Robert Turner. With distinction, Caitlin Anita Maria Van Engelen. Samantha Sarah Weir. With distinction, Laura Jane Weber. Natalie Sarah Welk. Amanda Kaylee Wilkins. With distinction, Stephen Paul Williams. Ashley Lynn Winsikabi. Alexandra Kit Ting Wong. With distinction, Kristen Terry Ann Wright. Yihi Zhong. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you these scholars from the College of Biological Science that they may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science in the general program. Gabriel Chan. Jordan Graham Harrison. Caitlin Ann MacDonald. With distinction, Sebastian Ruskowski. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you this scholar from the College of Biological Science that she may be admitted to the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Sciences in the honors program. Megan Rose Nelson. Ladies and gentlemen, you have behaved impeccably. It's time to raise the roof. Let's congratulate all of our scholars.
What a great day. Mr. Chancellor, I would ask you to confer the various and several degrees on the graduands listed in the program but unable to be present at this ceremony.
By virtue of the authority vested in me and in the University of Guelph, I confer the various and several degrees in absentia on the graduands not present.
Well, graduates, you did it. Congratulations. Well done. Well, we're all extremely proud of your accomplishments here at the University of Guelph. And of course, we're interested to see how the foundations that you have developed here as a student will support you in the future. And we want to continue to celebrate your achievements and your successes over the years, and we really do hope you'll stay in touch in the months and years to come. And remember that you're always welcome here. Now, of course, you're a student for a short time, but you're a Griffin forever. So look forward to you coming and staying in touch and coming back to your alma mater. Now, following convocation, Dr. Mike Eames, Dean of the College of Biological Sciences, will be hosting a reception for all graduates and their guests in Creelman Hall. This really is an opportunity for the graduates to be congratulated and for people to come and share some time together. So I really do hope that many of you will be able to attend. Encourage you to do so. Now, just some housekeeping items to share with you. Once you've taken all of the photographs, graduates, please return your gowns and hoods to the tent outside. There's a tendency sometimes to just keep going. If you could just hang a right and make sure you drop off the hoods and gowns, that would be great. Also, we host 21 convocation ceremonies this week, and waiting outside is the next group of families eager to see their graduates cross the stage. So if you could please exit through the doors at the front hall, that's this end of the hall, we'll be able to prepare the hall for the next group. So thank you again for your cooperation. And now, first of all, congratulations again to everyone. And now the final word of the convocation ceremony is from our Chancellor.
Convocation is dismissed.
Very good.